Guys, give me a few minutes and I'm going to show you why emotional vulnerability feels more dangerous than cheating, more terrifying than combat, and more humiliating than getting caught jerking off by your mom. You've built an entire identity on being unfazed, unshaken, untouchable. But behind all of that control is a man silently unraveling. You don't know how to say what you feel, so you either rage, shut down, or disappear. And it's not because you're weak, it's because nobody has ever taught you how to feel without being punished for it. And I know some of you are already leaning back, arms crossed, thinking, yeah, but I know there's badasses out there like Jocko, Willink, who says to just stifle that shit. You don't need to talk about your emotions. And you're not wrong. Jocko does say that. And I'm going to play a clip for you from him in a few minutes here, because what he says is exactly why so many men like us stay stuck. But it's what he says after that, what he admits about buried pain, trauma, and that deep-rooted shit that we carry in silence that most guys completely ignore. So stay with me to the end of this video, guys, okay? Because what I'm about to say will explain why you keep ruining the very things that you care about most, and how to finally stop that. And if you have ever felt that quiet panic rise in your throat when someone says, just tell me how you feel, you know exactly what I mean. You freeze, you deflect, or you try to name something, but nothing comes out. Just a pressure, just noise, just shame. And I want you to hear me. That's not because you're broken, man. It's because you were trained down to your core, down to your fucking bones, to disconnect from whatever made you human. So you could survive what no boy should have ever had to face. And now you're a grown man with power, performance, drive, but emotionally, you're still that same little kid just stuck in a grown-up cage, probably still silently screaming behind the eyes. Now, in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you straight through the reason why vulnerability makes you feel weak and unsafe, the hidden cost of avoiding it, and how to finally make it something that frees you, not exposes you. But guys, this only works if you're willing to get honest with yourself in ways that you have never done before. Because this isn't about fixing your marriage or getting rid of your anger or even saving your mental health, which all of that is a side benefit of this work. But deep down, this is about becoming the kind of man who can feel deeply and stand tall. It's about vulnerability with balls, man. Big, massive balls. And I promise you this, if you're still watching by the end of this video, something inside of you will have shifted. You'll see it. You'll feel it. And you'll finally understand why you've been so fucking tired carrying all of this alone. So let's name the truth here. Let's speak a little honesty. You're not here because you want to cry more. You're here because you're tired of wanting to cry all the damn time. You're here because something inside of you is breaking down quietly, invisibly. You're snapping at your wife or your girlfriend for no reason. You shut down during arguments, or maybe you just walk away entirely because the moment someone gets too close, you feel that flicker of panic deep in your chest and you think, I can't go there. You dominate in your work life, right? You're calculated, you're focused, you're relentless, but behind closed doors, you're either emotionally numb or swinging between rage and regret. And let's be honest, you don't even know what you're feeling half the time. You say, I'm fine, I'm good, but you're not. You escape into porn or weed or work, alcohol, workouts. Maybe you cheat. Maybe you ghost. Maybe you self-destruct in private ways that no one could ever suspect, just so you can feel something, so you can feel alive, so you can feel anything that reminds you you're alive. And yet, on paper, you're doing fucking great, man. You're a high performer, you're respected, you're controlled. So why do you still feel like a failure in the parts of your life that actually matter? Here's the part that no one ever told you. You were never taught how to feel, at least not in a safe manner. not cleanly, not like a man who owns his story without collapsing into it. Your vulnerability was used against you, maybe by a parent, maybe by someone who should have protected you and instead violated your trust. Or worse, violated your body. I work with guys who have gone through sexual abuse as a kid. Maybe you had become the man of the house when you were still a child, and there was no room for fear, no room for sadness or weakness. Just grind. Just keep working hard. Just shut up and keep moving. Just endure. So now as a grown man, every time you start to feel something real, your nervous system flags it as danger. And that's not weakness. That's trauma. That's adaptation. That's a wiring in your nervous system that had to armor up to survive what your mind could not make sense of at the time. But the good news, guys, it's not permanent. You can change it. You can rewire it. And when you do, you unlock a kind of internal strength that no amount of anger or avoidance could ever give you. But guys, before we go there, real quick, if what I'm saying is starting to stir something in you, if it's hitting you in some way, I want you to know that there's a link in the description down below where you can schedule a time to chat with me. Just a free call. It's not therapy. It's just a call with a man who's been exactly where you are. And I know how to walk you out of whatever darkness you're in with no judgment, with no pressure, no bullshit. So if something in your gut says that this is the moment, do not ignore that. Click on the link, okay? And then when you're done scheduling that call, come back to the rest of this video because I want to leave you with one question before we go even deeper. What has it cost you to keep pretending you don't feel anything? And here's what no one ever talks about. When a man doesn't know how to be emotionally vulnerable, he doesn't just lose connection. He loses himself. You want to know why you're exhausted all the damn time? Why even your wins don't feel like wins anymore? Because every day you're splitting yourself right down the middle into two different versions of you. The man that you showed to the world, the killer in the meetings, the rock for your family, the guy who has it all under control. And the man who lies awake at 2 a.m. wondering how the hell he became so angry, so alone, so isolated, so unknown. You think you're holding it all together, but what you're really doing is holding a part of yourself hostage. You make decisions not from clarity, but from avoidance. And you say yes to shit that you don't want to do because you don't know how to say, this doesn't feel right. You stay in relationships past their expiration because you don't know how to face the grief of leaving or the shame of staying. You stuff down your pain so fucking tight because that's what you were taught to do. And when it starts to leak out, and it does, it comes out sideways as sarcasm, as humor, as silence, as explosive reactions that you don't even recognize until they've already burned something down. And every time that happens, you reinforce the belief that says, see, I can't be vulnerable. I am too much. I am too broken. But that's not true. The truth is you were never taught how to feel in a way that doesn't destroy you. And I know some of you are hearing this and thinking, nah, man, I just don't do this soft emotional shit. Well, good, okay? I get that. That used to be me too. And it's why I want you to hear this quick clip from Jocko Willink, okay? Because he says something that nails the exact tension most men feel when it comes to vulnerability. Okay, so listen to this.
You know, it's just don't let your emotions out and into the world. Yeah. Keep them for yourself. Own them. Yeah. Keep them for yourself. Don't share them with other people if you don't have to. Yeah. Now, again, people are going to freak out that I'm saying this because you bury your emotions. Because that what happens when you bury when you've got something really traumatic that you bury, then it eats you apart. Yeah. And I've talked about that. I mean, talking about things that you go through in life and expressing those feelings that you have about them, that's good. Mm-hmm. But what we're talking about is not that. What we're talking about is daily emotions, little ups and downs, little tick marks on your Richter scale. We're not talking about an 8.8 on the Richter scale, right? We're talking about just like little twos. Yeah. And when you express those 2s and 3s on the Richter scale out to people, you just look unstable.
Now listen, this is where most guys get it twisted. Jocko's not saying never feel. He's saying don't weaponize your emotions. Don't spray your emotional chaos all over the room like a toddler with a loaded diaper. And he's right. Most men, they don't need more expression. They need more ownership. But here's the trap. If you have never actually processed that 8.8 on the Richter scale he's talking about, that stuff, the trauma, the betrayal, the shame, then all of your daily 2s and 3s are going to feel like nuclear meltdowns. You suppress them. You muscle through. You tell yourself, be strong, but eventually it leaks. And you snap at your kid. You ghost your girl. You drink. You numb. You shame spiral after sex. And you tell yourself it's just stress or being tired, but really it's that 8.8 that you never dug up. And it's now showing up as instability. And that's the real danger. You think it's the little emotions that make you unstable. It's not. It's the buried ones. That's what turns men into ticking time bombs. What eats you alive isn't what you express. It's what you refuse to feel. So yes, I agree with Jocko. Don't bleed on people unnecessarily. But if you've been bleeding internally for years, you better believe it's time to feel that. And no, not publicly, not performatively, but consciously, intentionally. And with someone who won't flinch when you finally say the thing that you've never said out loud. And Jocko actually says something else that takes this even deeper. Something most guys will never admit out loud, but every single one of us does. Every single one of us has felt this, especially if you grew up feeling like no one ever saw you or gave a fuck about what you were going through, what was going on behind your eyes and behind closed doors. So just listen to this part too, okay?
When you do see the big, emotional, impactful things in someone's life and they don't express them, that absolutely is bad. And I'll tell you where you see this a lot is with kids. Yeah. You know, kids, teens, where there's something bothering them and they hold it in because they don't have anybody to talk to. They can't talk to mom and dad because mom and dad don't get it. Their friends are the people that they're pissed off at anyway, so they can't tell them what's going on. So they sit there and they harbor a lot of that anger, and that can be very problematic. And it goes all through adults as well, and at work. Sometimes people they got problems at home, so they can't talk to their wife because that's what the problem was. They can't talk to their husband because that's the source of the problem. But then they get to work and they don't want to look like the person that's got problems at home, so they're not going to say anything there either. And the next thing you do, what are they doing? They're trying to escape those problems. How are they doing it? Instead of letting those problems out and talking to somebody about them, they're having a drink in the afternoon, getting on the alcohol, whatever. They're doing something that's negative and they're not moving forward at all. So those are not the kind of feelings and emotions that you want to subdue or stifle.
And that's it right there. That's where it starts. You didn't shut down because you were weak. You shut down because you had no one to go to. No one could hold it for you. No one who actually got it. No one understood. So you learned to carry everything alone. You smiled when you wanted to scream. You said, I'm good when you were falling apart. And over time, that silence became your identity. And now that same silence is killing your connection, your peace, your clarity. And yes, it feels strong to stay quiet, to be stoic. But what if strength isn't silence? What if real strength is being able to say, here's what I'm carrying and I'm done pretending it doesn't hurt? Because when you finally say that, no, again, not to the whole fucking world, not out to Instagram, but to yourself, something cracks open. And what comes out first? Fear, rage, shame. But beneath all of that is the boy that you left behind. The one who never got to cry without consequence. The one who learned fast that feeling is dangerous. Vulnerability doesn't feel like soft music and journal entries. It feels like the moment the belt came off. It feels like being 8 years old again. Curled up in the dark, hiding in your closet, knowing that no one is coming to check on you to see if you're okay. And it feels like betrayal, like powerlessness, humiliation. So what did you do from there? You built a strategy. Don't feel, don't trust, don't need, maybe get angry, break some shit. Just perform, just protect, just survive. And it worked. Until now, until it doesn't anymore. Because the very strategy that it kept you alive back then is the same one that is killing your capacity to live now. To feel really, fully, to connect, to love, and to be loved without constantly scanning for the next catch or for the shoe to drop. And brother, I know this terrain. I used to think that emotions were the enemy, that if I let them in, I would drown. That if anyone saw what I was really carrying, they would leave, or worse, they would use it against me. And unfortunately, some people do, but not the right people. That's where I got it wrong. The right people will show up and they'll hold that space for you. What I didn't know then, what most men never get told, is that real emotional vulnerability, it's not a confession. It's not trauma dumping. It's not weakness. It's presence. It's about being able to sit where you're at and saying, this is me. It's the ability to feel something without flinching, without numbing, without running, and to stay connected to yourself through that whole process. That's what makes you powerful, when you can fully fucking integrate. That's what makes you safe for yourself, for your woman, for your kids, for your family. But to get there, you have to meet the version of you that you have been avoiding. That scared little boy, the angry teenager, the numbed out adult who got so good at performing he forgot how to just be. Now that version of you is not the problem. He's the key, guys. He's the reason your body tenses every time someone asks you, how are you feeling? How's it going? How are you doing? He's the one who took the hit when you weren't allowed to speak or to cry or to ask for help. And until you bring him home, you'll keep trying to win a life that never feels like it belongs to you. So men, here's the moment right here. You get to choose. Do you keep armoring up, pretending your silence is strength, or do you get honest enough to admit that everything you have been avoiding, all of the feelings you've avoided, all of that is still running the show? Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. That ache in your chest when your partner says, I feel alone with you. That sharp defensiveness that rises when someone critiques you. That emptiness after sex. That moment you look in the mirror and wonder, why the hell am I still unhappy? All of it comes from the same place. A disconnection. And the way back, it's not to get better at emotions. It's to stop making them the enemy. It's to stop thinking you need to collapse or cry to be real. Vulnerability, men, you guys, it can look like saying, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I want to understand. It can look like staying in the room during an argument. It can look like breathing through the urge to explain, justify, or attack. It's the smallest fucking shift, guys, but it creates the biggest change. Because when you stop abandoning yourself emotionally, everything else changes. You stop needing your woman to validate you. You stop fearing intimacy. You stop reacting like your past is still happening. And you start making choices, not from fear, but from clarity. And that's what I do on these free calls that I offer too, by the way. It's the furthest thing from surface talk. And it's not about fixing you, but we do go in. We walk together into the places that you locked away, and we bring you out stronger, clearer, and more whole. So if you're still here, if something in you is stirring and you think that you're man enough to answer some difficult questions, click the link down below and book a free call. Let this be the moment you stopped avoiding the truth of who you are. Guys, if this video hit something real in you, please like it, please share it, leave a comment down below, and then watch the next one that pops up right here. I want to take you even deeper into how to stop performing and to start living like a man who's finally done running. I'll see you on the call.